Forget fish. I know, that's a bold way to begin, especially when for years we've been told that fish is the ultimate superfood for protein, for omega-3s, for keeping our muscles strong as we age. But what if I told you there is another food from the sea that not only builds muscle more effectively, but also has the power to reverse one of the greatest challenges, sarcopenia, that slow, creeping loss of muscle mass that steals away our independence, our vitality, our very sense of strength. What if the solution wasn't swimming, but crawling? Today, we are going to uncover a truth that may surprise you, a truth that might completely change the way you look at seafood, at muscle health, and at aging itself. Most people think sarcopenia is inevitable, just a sad fact of growing older like wrinkles or gray hair. But it isn't. Sarcopenia is not simply old age. It's a condition fueled by diet, lifestyle, and lack of awareness. The beautiful part is that if it can be fueled by our choices, it can also be healed by our choices. And one of the most powerful choices we can make is what we put on our plate each day. While the world continues praising fish, there's another ocean treasure quietly overlooked, yet bursting with the very nutrients our muscles are crying out for. I'm talking about shellfish. Yes, mussels, clams, oysters, and scallops. You might be raising an eyebrow and thinking, really? Those little shell creatures. But stay with me, because once you understand what they carry in their compact, mineral-rich packages, you'll see why they are like medicine for aging muscles. You'll see why civilizations for centuries prized them not only for their flavor, but for their strength-building properties. These foods are not glamorous, they're not trendy, but they are profound in their impact. Let's look at the very heart of the matter, protein. Everyone knows we need protein to build muscle, but not all protein is created equal. The muscles of someone over 60 are not as efficient at turning dietary protein into muscle tissue as the muscles of someone in their 20s. That means quality matters more than quantity. Shellfish provide a protein that is exceptionally bioavailable. It slips into the system almost effortlessly, and because it comes bundled with key amino acids like leucine, it directly stimulates muscle protein synthesis. This is the spark we need to stop sarcopenia in its tracks. But protein is only part of the story. Think of your body like a garden. Protein is the seed you plant, but seeds will not grow without the right soil, minerals, and sunshine. In your muscles, those minerals and sunshine come in the form of nutrients like zinc, selenium, iron, and B vitamins. Yes, where you find all of them in concentrated, highly absorbable forms. That's right. Shellfish. A tiny serving of mussels or clams provides more iron than red meat, more vitamin B12 than a steak, and a cocktail of trace minerals that power your enzymes, your energy cycles, your recovery. These are not just nutrients, they are activators. They wake up sleeping processes in your cells. They remind your muscles how to respond, how to repair, how to stay alive. And there's another treasure hidden in these sea creatures, taurine. You may have heard of taurine in energy drinks, but in nature, taurine exists in high concentrations in shellfish. Taurine is an amino acid that protects muscles from oxidative stress, supports mitochondrial health, and even improves endurance. It's like a shield and a power source in one. And this is crucial because as we age, our mitochondria, the little powerhouses in our cells, begin to falter. When they falter, everything slows energy, repair, resilience. Taurine helps restore that spark. Some of you may be thinking, but isn't seafood dangerous these days? What about toxins? What about heavy metals? That's a fair concern, but here's the difference. Unlike large fish, tuna, salmon, swordfish, Shellfish are at the bottom of the food chain. They don't accumulate mercury the way predatory fish do. In fact, because they filter the waters they live in, they're often surprisingly clean. And if you source them from trusted, sustainable fisheries, you get all the benefits without the risks that often come with bigger fish. Let me share something that amazed me when I first discovered it. Populations that eat shellfish regularly into old age have strikingly lower rates of sarcopenia and frailty. In parts of coastal Japan, elders well into their 80s and 90s continue to gather shellfish by hand and eat them fresh. These are men and women still squatting easily, still carrying buckets of water, still walking long distances with upright posture and steady legs. They aren't just surviving, they are thriving. And much of their vitality is linked directly to these nutrient-dense foods of the sea. But I want to make this practical for you, because it's not enough to know this. You have to know how to apply it. Imagine starting your week with a pot of mussels steamed with garlic and herbs, or adding chopped clams to a soup, or making a simple oyster stew that takes 10 minutes to prepare. You don't need large amounts. A small serving 2 or 3 times a week can completely shift your nutrient profile, filling in gaps that no supplement can truly match. Let's weave this back to sarcopenia, because this is where it becomes life-changing. Sarcopenia is not just about shrinking muscles. It's about everything those muscles allow us to do. Every time you get up from a chair without using your hands, every time you carry groceries, every time you walk upstairs without huffing and puffing, that is your muscle mass serving you. When muscle declines, independence declines. And here is the sobering truth: muscle loss begins as early as our 30s. And if we don't actively nourish and challenge our muscles, by the time we reach 60 or 70, we can lose up to half of our muscle mass. Half. That is what turns vibrant people into frail people. That is what turns an active lifestyle into one dependent on others. But when we combine the right kind of exercise, strength training, resistance, even brisk walking, with foods like shellfish, we send our body a clear signal: hold on to muscle, build more, stay strong. And the body listens. It always listens when we give it the right inputs. Here's something fascinating. Shellfish don't just help with muscles, they also support nerves. Remember, your muscles don't work in isolation. They rely on signals from your nervous system. If the nerve connection weakens, even the strongest muscle won't contract properly. B12, found in abundance in shellfish, protects that nerve-muscle connection. This is why elders who eat shellfish often maintain not just strength, but coordination, balance, agility. They move with confidence, which means fewer falls, fewer fractures, fewer hospital visits. Let's pause for a moment and imagine your life 20, 30 years from now. Picture yourself walking briskly, perhaps on a beach, perhaps through a park, with energy in your step and lightness in your heart. Picture yourself lifting a grandchild into your arms with ease, gardening without aching, traveling without worrying whether you can keep up. This is not a fantasy. This is what your body is capable of when you give it the tools it needs. And isn't it remarkable that something so humble, something so overlooked, could be part of that picture? Mussels, clams, oysters, scallops. They are not glamorous. They are not expensive luxuries, but they are powerful allies. They are the guardians of muscle, the protectors against sarcopenia, the hidden jewels of the ocean waiting to be rediscovered. Now I want to tell you a story. There was a woman, 71 years old, who came to me once with a concern. She said she was afraid of becoming a burden on her children. She had noticed her strength slipping away. Carrying laundry up the stairs felt harder. Her balance wasn't as steady as before. She had resigned herself to the idea that this was simply old age. I suggested she start incorporating shellfish into her weekly meals, alongside a simple routine of body weight exercises, squats against a chair, lifting light weights, daily walks. She was skeptical at first. She wasn't used to eating mussels or clams, but she tried, and within 3 months, she noticed her energy improving. 6 months later, she told me she could carry her groceries again without help. A year later, she was dancing at her granddaughter's wedding, standing tall, radiant, and proud. She wasn't just surviving, she was living. And her children, instead of worrying about her, were inspired by her. This is what's possible. This is what the body can do, and I want that for you. You see, aging vibrantly isn't about pretending we're 20 forever. It's about supporting the body we have at the age we are so that it can give us vitality, independence, and joy. Sarcopenia is not inevitable. Frailty is not a sentence. The sea has given us a remarkable gift in the form of shellfish, and when we combine that with movement, rest, and good choices, we can rewrite the story of aging. Forget fish if you like. Reach instead for these humble, nutrient-dense foods of the sea, and watch as your body responds with strength, resilience, and renewed energy. Imagine stepping into your 80s and 90s not with fear, but with confidence, with the steady legs and strong arms that let you live fully. That is the vision worth holding, the future worth building, the gift worth giving yourself today. When we talk about aging, most people immediately picture decline. They think of walking canes, wheelchairs, medications lined up on the kitchen counter, long afternoons in waiting rooms. And while that has become the norm for so many, it is not the destiny written into our biology. The human body has a remarkable design, built for resilience, built for strength, built for recovery at every stage of life. The tragedy is not that our bodies fail us with age, but that most of us fail to give our bodies the nourishment and signals they need to continue thriving. And this is where we return to one of the most underestimated gifts of nature, the humble shellfish. Because within these small creatures lies a key to unlocking not just stronger muscles, but a completely different vision of what aging can look like. Think for a moment about what muscle really represents in your life. It's not just tissue wrapped around your bones. It's your independence. It's your ability to rise from a chair, to walk out the door, to climb stairs, to hold your loved ones in your arms. Muscle is freedom. And yet, as we grow older, the world teaches us to expect less and less from our muscles. We hear phrases like, take it easy, or slow down, as though aging is synonymous with fragility. But it doesn't have to be this way. Every bite we eat, every step we take, every small choice we make either feeds sarcopenia or fights it. And shellfish, as strange as it may sound, happen to be one of the most powerful foods for fighting it. Let's look closely at why. Sarcopenia is not simply about the absence of protein. If it were that simple, we could just eat more chicken or eggs and be done with it. But the body of someone over 60, 70, or 80 doesn't use protein in the same way as it did at 20. The machinery has become less efficient, like a car engine that has collected dust and rust. You don't just need fuel. You need spark plugs oil and a good cleaning of the system. Shellfish provide that. The protein inside is paired with minerals that act like those spark plugs, igniting the process of muscle building where other proteins might simply pass through unused. The iron inside shellfish delivers oxygen to the muscles, fueling endurance. The zinc supports testosterone and growth hormone, both essential for maintaining muscle mass. The selenium protects cells from oxidative damage, which increases with age and wears down tissues. The B12 restores nerve communication, keeping the muscle fibers firing in synchrony. Together, these are not random nutrients. They are a symphony playing the very music your body longs to hear to stay vibrant. Now, think of the alternative. Picture two paths. On one path, someone eats a diet low in minerals, low in fresh nutrients, high in processed foods, perhaps with a piece of chicken here and there, maybe some bread, maybe some tea and toast. The typical easy meals of older age, the muscles on this path weaken steadily. They lose the ability to respond to protein because the cofactors, the helpers, are missing. The person grows slower, less steady, more tired. Each year, daily life feels heavier, more draining. On the other path, someone nourishes themselves with shellfish 2 or 3 times a week. They combine that with gentle strength exercises, like carrying groceries, rising from a chair without using their hands, walking daily. On this path, the minerals from the shellfish keep their systems tuned. Their muscles respond to the protein. Their mitochondria, those tiny powerhouses in the cells, receive taurine to keep producing energy efficiently. Their balance remains steady because their nerves are supported by B12. Their endurance lasts longer because oxygen is being delivered richly through iron. Same age, same years lived, but 2 completely different experiences. And the beauty is, it doesn't take large amounts. Shellfish are so concentrated in nutrients that a handful of clams or a bowl of mussels can accomplish what larger portions of other foods cannot. The density of nutrition is extraordinary, and it's not just about muscles either. Strong muscles protect joints, reducing arthritis pain by taking pressure off knees and hips. They protect bones because when muscles pull against bone, it signals the body to keep bones dense and strong. They protect the brain because muscle tissue helps regulate blood sugar, and stable blood sugar preserves cognitive function. So when you eat for your muscles, you are also eating for your brain, your bones, your joints, your entire body. It is important to pause and realize that sarcopenia is not just a medical term. It's a thief. It steals independence slowly, almost invisibly. First, it takes away the ease of climbing stairs, then the ability to carry a laundry basket, then the confidence to walk on uneven ground. And eventually, it robs people of the freedom to live without constant assistance. But when we choose foods like shellfish, we are putting a lock on that door. We are saying, no, I will not allow this thief to take away my strength, my dignity, my vitality. And there is something deeply empowering in that. You see, aging vibrantly is not about how you look on the outside. Wrinkles will come, hair will gray. But what really matters is whether you can stand tall, whether you can move freely, whether you can live without depending on others for every small task. This is the true beauty of aging, the ability to continue living life on your own terms. And that is what strong muscles, fueled by the treasures of the sea, make possible. I think often about cultures where elders are respected not only for their wisdom, but for their vitality. In fishing villages, it is not unusual to see men and women in their 80s out in boats, still gathering mussels, still digging clams, still walking with a strength that belies their years. They have not lost themselves to sarcopenia because their diet has supported them all along. They have lived close to the sea, eating what it provides, and in turn, the sea has preserved them. This is not coincidence. This is nourishment at its finest. Some people ask, but what if I don't like shellfish? And to that I say, sometimes we must see food as medicine first. We can learn to enjoy it. We can season it. We can add it to soups and stews. We can prepare it in ways that make it familiar. The key is to begin. Even if you eat a small portion once a week, your body notices, your cells notice. Over time, your taste buds adapt, and what once felt strange becomes a natural, even craved, part of your diet. I want you to imagine, for a moment, your own future. Not the version you may have been conditioned to expect, but a new version. Picture yourself at 75, walking through your garden, bending easily to pick herbs, rising without struggle. Picture yourself at 80, hiking a short trail with friends, laughing, keeping pace without fear of stumbling. Picture yourself at 90, playing on the floor with great grandchildren. Muscles strong enough to lift yourself with ease, arms steady enough to hold them tightly. This is not unrealistic. This is what is possible when we take sarcopenia seriously and choose to fight it with the tools nature has given us. And those tools are not hidden in expensive supplements or complex regimens. They are simple, humble, affordable. A bowl of mussels steamed with herbs. A clam chowder shared with family. A serving of oysters enjoyed on a weekend. These simple meals can carry within them the power to preserve your independence for decades. They are not just food, they are an investment. An investment in freedom, in vitality, in joy. This is the inspiring vision of aging that I hold before you. Aging not as decline, but as a continuation of living fully. Aging not as loss, but as gain. Gain in wisdom, gain in perspective, gain in gratitude for each day lived with strength. Shellfish, the overlooked treasures of the ocean, can be part of that vision. They are the quiet guardians of muscle, the protectors against frailty, the companions of vitality. And when we embrace them, we step into a future where independence is not lost with age, but preserved, cherished, and lived with radiant energy. When we talk about sarcopenia, it's easy to think only about muscles, protein, and food, but the truth is that this condition is about so much more than just eating enough protein. Sarcopenia is the body's way of saying that balance has been lost, that our lifestyle is no longer sending the right signals for strength, resilience, and vitality. And when I say lifestyle, I mean everything that surrounds us. The way we move, the way we rest, the way we eat, the way we think, even the way we connect with other people. Food is a powerful foundation, but food alone is not enough unless it's paired with the right lifestyle practices. That's why shellfish, as powerful as they are, must be seen as one part of a broader way of living that tells the body every single day to hold on to muscle, to keep building strength, to resist decline. Let's begin with movement, because nothing tells the body to preserve muscle like using it. We know that muscles obey the principle of use it or lose it. If you sit most of the day, if you stop challenging your muscles, your body gets the message these muscles are no longer needed, and it starts quietly breaking them down. But when you move, when you carry your groceries, when you take a brisk walk, when you do squats from your chair, your body receives the opposite message. These muscles are in demand. Keep them strong, build more. And this is where food and movement come together beautifully. Imagine you've just eaten a meal of mussels or clams. Your body is now flooded with amino acids, minerals, and vitamins ready to build and repair. If you go for a walk afterward, or lift some light weights, or simply move with intention, those nutrients are directed straight into the muscles that need them most. The signal from exercise and the raw materials from shellfish combine like two parts of the same equation, multiplying each other's effects. But lifestyle isn't just about exercise. Sleep is another cornerstone. We often underestimate the role of sleep in muscle preservation. During deep sleep, your body releases growth hormone, which is one of the most powerful signals to build and repair muscle. Without sleep, even the best diet cannot prevent decline. And here again, the nutrients in shellfish play a role. Zinc and magnesium, found in high levels in many shellfish, support the nervous system and help regulate sleep cycles. B12 supports the circadian rhythm. By including shellfish in your diet, you are not only feeding your muscles, but also feeding the very systems that allow you to rest deeply, which is when the magic of repair happens. Hydration is another overlooked piece. Muscle is made up of water just as much as it is protein. Dehydrated muscle is weaker, stiffer, more prone to injury. Shellfish naturally contain electrolytes, minerals like potassium and sodium, that help your body maintain fluid balance. That means when you eat shellfish in a broth or in a stew, you're not just getting protein, you're hydrating your tissues with minerals that hold water where it belongs, in your muscles, keeping them supple and ready. Now let's talk about inflammation. Chronic inflammation is one of the silent drivers of sarcopenia. It gnaws at your tissues day after day, breaking down muscle fibers faster than your body can repair them. Shellfish contain natural anti-inflammatory compounds, especially omega-3 fatty acids that calm this internal fire. They don't work alone. Of course, you need to pair them with an anti-inflammatory lifestyle. That means reducing processed foods, cutting back on refined sugar, managing stress, and moving your body regularly. But shellfish provide that direct nutritional support to lower inflammation, making it easier for your muscles to stay intact and responsive. And then there is digestion, because you are not what you eat, you are what you absorb. Many older adults struggle with low stomach acid, which means even if they eat protein, they may not break it down properly. This is why a steak or a large portion of meat can sometimes feel heavy, leaving you tired rather than energized. Shellfish, on the other hand, are light, easily digested, and rich in enzymes that make absorption smooth. That means your body doesn't have to work as hard to extract the nutrients, and you feel energized rather than sluggish after eating them. This ease of digestion makes shellfish a perfect choice for an anti-sarcopenia lifestyle, because you want food that works with your body, not against it. We can't ignore the role of hormones either. Hormones are powerful messengers that tell your muscles whether to grow or shrink. Testosterone, estrogen, growth hormone, and insulin, like growth factor, all play roles in muscle health. As we age, these hormone levels decline, but diet and lifestyle can influence how sharp that decline is. Zinc in shellfish supports testosterone. Iodine from some shellfish supports thyroid health. B vitamins support adrenal function. Together, they help maintain the hormonal balance that favors muscle retention rather than breakdown. Combine this with stress management, because chronic stress floods the body with cortisol, which eats away at muscle, and you create an internal environment where sarcopenia simply cannot thrive. Sunlight and vitamin D are another key piece of the puzzle. Muscles are highly responsive to vitamin D, and deficiency is strongly linked with muscle weakness and falls in older adults. While shellfish provide many minerals, pairing them with a lifestyle that includes safe sun exposure or vitamin D support is essential. Imagine eating a nourishing meal of shellfish after spending some time outdoors in fresh air and sunlight. Your body now has not only the building blocks for muscle, but also the vitamin D activation that helps your body use calcium and phosphorus effectively, strengthening both muscles and bones. This is how lifestyle and nutrition weave together in harmony. Let's not forget mental health and connection. Sarcopenia is not just physical, it's also influenced by the mind. People who feel isolated, who lose purpose, who lack community, often decline more quickly. Sharing a meal of shellfish with family or friends creates connection. Cooking together, eating together, laughing together These moments reduce stress, release oxytocin, and create the positive emotional state that supports physical health. Loneliness is toxic, but community is medicine. And when shellfish become part of shared meals, they take on an even deeper role in an anti-sarcopenia lifestyle. Practical habits tie it all together. An anti-sarcopenia lifestyle is not about drastic changes, but about consistent signals. Small daily practices build resilience over time. It could be as simple as a morning routine that includes stretching, a midday walk, a balanced meal with shellfish twice a week, a regular sleep schedule, and moments of gratitude or relaxation to manage stress. Each piece alone may seem small, but together they form a net that catches you before you fall into decline. When you understand sarcopenia in this holistic way, shellfish shift from being just another food to being a cornerstone of a broader lifestyle. They are like the keystone in an arch. Without them, the structure may still stand, but it is weaker, more prone to collapse. With them, everything is held firmly in place, exercise becomes more effective, sleep becomes more restorative, hormones function more smoothly, digestion becomes more efficient, inflammation calms down, and the result is not just stronger muscles, but a stronger life. And this brings us to a vision that I want you to hold in your mind. A vision of aging not as a season of decline, but as a season of vitality. Imagine living in your 70s and 80s with muscles that still respond to your commands, legs that still carry you with confidence, arms that still lift with ease. Imagine feeling steady on your feet, energized when you wake, proud of your ability to live independently, free to travel, to garden, to dance, to play with grandchildren without fear. Imagine not shrinking into a smaller version of yourself, but expanding into life with strength and joy. This is the vision of an anti-sarcopenia lifestyle. It is not a fantasy. It is not reserved for the lucky few. It is a reality that can be built through daily choices. And at the heart of those choices is the ocean's gift, the humble shellfish, supporting you as you weave together all the other threads of a vibrant, independent life